customers. On the foreign scene, Hamas official says respecting ceasefire is the only way to bring Israeli hostages home. Good evening. This is News at 7 on Western Spring Television. I am Femi Ojo. We begin in the National Assembly as the President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, has said the Senate will receive the report on the 54.2 trillion naira 2025 budget estimate this week for possible passage. Speaking during today's plenary, Senator Akpabio gave the assurance that the Senate Committee on Appropriation is expected to present the report on Wednesday or Thursday. He stressed the urgency of finalizing work on the 2025 budget, noting that some senators were absent from the chamber to put the finishing touches on the appropriation bill. He further underscored the need to conclude discussions promptly to allow for collective effort in reviewing and passing the budget. The 2025 appropriation bill to be submitted by the Chairman, Senate Committee on Appropriation, Adeola Olamilekon, is expected to undergo final consideration and passage after the committee submits his report. In the meantime, Inspector General Police IGP Kayode Egbetokun has apologized to the Senate Public Accounts Committee for failing to honor multiple invitations to address queries raised by the Auditor General of the Federation regarding the Nigerian Police Force. Last week, Committee Chairman Senator Ahmed Aliyu Dada had threatened to issue a warrant of arrest against the IGP if he continued to evade the summons. Speaking under oath before the committee, IGP Egbetokun explained that his absence was not intentional but due to the heavy demands of his office, assuring the lawmakers that such an occurrence would not happen again. Senator Abdul Ningi, PDP Bauchi Central, who represents Wadada, accepted the apology, stating that the IGP's presence before the committee reaffirmed that no one is above the law. He warned other invitees, including heads of ministries, departments, and agencies, to ensure they appear to defend queries against them on days specified on their invitation letters. In the Green Chambers, the House of Representatives has directed the Nigeria Communications Commission to suspend the recent 50% hike in telecommunications tariffs. The lawmakers cited the economic hardship being experienced by Nigerians owing largely to the removal of fuel subsidy. The decision of the House was sequel to the adoption of a motion of urgent public importance sponsored by a member of the People's Democratic Party from Bayelsa State, Oboko Ofoje, during today's plenary. Honorable Ofoje argued that though the telecom companies premised the hike on rising operational costs and the need for better service delivery, he noted that Nigerians were already going through a lot just to put food on the table.
Mr. Speaker, the House is saddened that those small businesses which rely heavily on affordable telecommunication operation, marketing, and customer engagement will face additional financial burden. Imagine a scenario where a 10% increase is approved. It is estimated that a 10% increase in telecommunication cost will reduce small businesses' profitability up to 7%, potentially leading to closure of businesses. Mr. Speaker, the House resolved urge the Minister of Communication...
Honorable Jimmy Benson, can you be attentive, please?
The House resolved urge the Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy and Nigerian Communication Commission to suspend the impending hike in telecommunication tariff until their service improves. Mandate the Committee on Telecommunication to ensure compliance. Mr. Speaker, my revived colleagues, I so move.
And turning to politics, a member of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in the House of Representatives, Amos Gwamna Magaji, has defected to the ruling of Progressive Congress, the APC. Honorable Magaji, who represents Jaba Zangokata Federal Constituency of Kaduna State, said he was leaving the PDP as a result of unresolved crises in the party right from the national to local levels. The lawmaker, who is the chairman of the House Committee on Healthcare Services, is a two-time member of the House and chairman of the Kaduna Caucus in the House of Representatives. Magaji is the third member of the PDP defecting to the APC since the inauguration of the 10th Assembly after Chris Nkwanta and Eriateke Iboriswenu. Objecting to Magaji's defection, Minority Leader Kingsley Chinda asked the Speaker to declare the seat of the Kaduna lawmaker vacant. Citing Section 68, subsection 1G of the Constitution, Honorable Chinda said lawmakers were not lawbreakers, stressing that while the law allows any member to leave the party in whose platform he was elected, it also spelled out the consequences associated with the action, which include losing his seat.
Point of order, Section 68, 1G of the Constitution of our country. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, you all agree that we are lawmakers and indeed custodians of the laws of this country. We carry the laws of this country in our bosom. We know the laws of this country and we practice them. Mr. Speaker, again, though it could sound like a broken drum, but we will keep speaking until the right thing is done. There are process and procedure that we, as lawmakers, crafted in our Constitution, that where a member is elected on the platform of a political party, and he decides to be a member of another political party, he has a right to do so, but there are consequences. And one of the clear consequences, as clearly stated in the Constitution of our country, is that you will lose your seat. Mr. Speaker, on that note, and on behalf of the entire 365 other members who are out to uphold the Constitution, 360 other members.
365 is a mentioned minority.
Including senators. Who are out to uphold the Constitution of this country. We call on you, Mr. Speaker, to do the needful and declare the seat of our dear brother vacant. Thank you.
In Rivers State, Governor Siminalayi Fubara has expressed confidence that nothing will stand in the way of his victory in the 2027 should he decide to seek a second term. Governor Fubara made these assertions during a solidarity visit by the three local government areas that make up the Kalabari ethnic nationality this afternoon. The delegation had endorsed him for re-election, citing his leadership qualities and commitment to infrastructural development, including the ongoing 200 billion naira Trans-Kalabari Road project. The governor, however, emphasized that his administration is more focused on delivering meaningful impact on the state rather than the duration of his time in office. Meanwhile, embattled former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai says he will not opt for exile despite the many rumors that he might be arrested and tortured by the Bola Tinubu administration. El-Rufai, who has been embroiled in a battle of words with the presidency and the ruling All Progressives Congress APC, said he will not be intimidated by the current administration. The former governor, in a response to a post by an ex-user, Imran Wakili, on the alleged plot to arrest him, said he would return to Nigeria from Egypt before February 20. Imran Wakili had alleged he had information that there is a plan to arrest the former Kaduna State Governor if he returns back to Nigeria. For responding, El-Rufai said the arrest, detention and torture of perceived political enemies are nothing new, noting that he had been arrested and detained thrice in the past for expressing his views of previous governments. And turning to security matter, a 7-member of the National Youth Service Corps, identified as Sofian Fade, has been beaten to death by hoodlums in the Bangshin local government area of Plateau State. Fade, serving with the Federal University of Education in Bangshin, was reportedly attacked and beaten to death by a group of hoodlums who stormed a local stadium within the locality. The State Commissioner of Police, Emmanuel Adesina, confirmed the incident at the command's headquarters in Jos today. CP Adesina disclosed that 2 male suspects one Samuel Dankart and Sashinan Ubreve have been arrested in connection with the attack which led to the death of the corps member. According to the commissioner, the suspects were arrested after a thorough investigation while promising to bring the perpetrators to justice. The chairman of the Police Service Commission, DIG Hashimu Argungu, retired, has requested the Inspector General Police Kayode Egbetokun to investigate two senior officers of the Zone 7 Police Command over the alleged involvement in a civil land dispute, extortion, and abuse of office. Argungu, in a letter to the IGP, urged the setting up of a competent committee to probe the officer in charge of the legal unit and the deputy commissioner in charge of operations of the zone. In a statement today by PSC spokesman Ikechukwu Ani, the PSA chairman accused the officers of violating police rules of engagement by meddling in civil matters and facilitating the demolition of a petitioner's residence. He said the letter was prompted by a petition received from one Alhaji Abubakar Yahya against the two officers who, against repeated warnings, were involved in civil matters and supervised the demolition of the petitioner's residential property where he had lived for over 15 years. It disclosed that the petitioner further alleged that a High Court Enforcement Unit, led by one Shamsuddin Ubandoma, extorted 700,000 naira from him under the pretense of preventing further police enforcement actions. And here in Osun State, in a bid to strengthen governance and administration of educational institutions in Osun State, the state government has inaugurated Board of Governance and Safe School Initiative for public secondary schools and technical colleges. Speaking at the event, the Commissioner for Education, Honorable Dikpo Oluwole, said the move will ensure the participation of communities in the school's decision-making. He noted that it followed a decision by the National Council on Education at its 52nd meeting, which directed all schools to establish school management committees to act as an essential link between schools and the communities they serve. On his part, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Education, Mortala Jima, expressed appreciation to Governor Ademola Adeleke for his administration's investment in education.
Through SBMC, a community will contribute in different ways towards the provision and maintenance of school facilities and source for funds to implement the effort, to complement the effort of government.
Journalist Osun State Council, Comrade Wasiu Ajadoshu, stated that the composition of the stakeholders include people who value education, adding that the government's approach will yield positive results.
My expectation from all those who are just inaugurated now is just to work out together, to look at the area where they can assist the government in turning education better in Osun State, so that Osun State will lead in education and others will follow.
It's a good innovation. Education is key. Education is too important. And I tell my children, education is not thing to toy with. It cannot be a wasted thing. Oh, it's a scam. Education can never be a scam. And I'm so happy that the government is alive to our responsibility. That what we want Nigeria or Osun State to be the next 70 years is now. Western region, the whole Western region, Oyo, Osun, Ogun, relatively peaceful because of the free education program initiated by that great man, Chief Obafemi Awolowo in 19.
And still in Osun State, the Asiwaju of Ijeshaland, Chief Olayinka Fashuye, says leaders in the region have been engaging the state government on the devastating effect of illegal mining in the area. Chief Fashuye spoke at the 45th edition of Frontliners, an interview program organized by the League of Veteran Journalists in Osun State. He disclosed that a forum established by leaders in Ijeshaland in 2020 has been working to educate the people on the dangers. While commenting on the appointment of the new Owoboko of Ijishiland, Oba Clement Adeshuye Hastrop, the Asiwaju of Ijishiland described the selection as an answered prayer for the people of the land. Chairman of the program, a former Director General of OSBC, Mr. Dewaledu, commended the veteran journalists for their continued commitment to the journalism profession.
I want to tell you, without any fear of contradiction, that things would have been worse today than they were if I did not be for the intervention of IMRDF that was established on Sunday, 10th of May, year 2020. So we keep calling. We have made several visits to the state government. We have been going around the communities. We have been educating them that for your own good, for your own safety, for your own everything, interest, you need to protect your land. You need to do this. You need to protect. You need to guide against. In short, at a point in time, we did testing on our water. The pollution, we came to Osogbo here to report the result of the pollution. And we threatened the government that we will alert the world bodies of our efforts if the government fails to also complement and address in ensuring that, all these menace is timely and promptly addressed.
Meanwhile, the Osun State Transport Management System, OSTMS, has been rebranded and merged with the National Union of Road Transport Workers, NURTW, for effective service delivery, professionalism, and for improved revenue generation. At an event attended by transport workers from both the national and state levels, the two transport groups decided to merge as NURTW because of the need to improve the transport sector in Osun State. Speaking at the event, the Commissioner for Transportation, Honorable Seson Yedele, who described the day as a great one in the history of the transport sector in the state, said the sector can only get better under Governor Ademola Adeleke. In an address, NURTW National President, Comrade Musiliu Akinsoya, known as MC Oluomo, commended the efforts Governor Adeleke is in stabilizing and improving the transportation sector in Osun State. He explained that the governor has shown that he is a man of the masses through the various laudable projects he is executing in the nooks and crannies of the state. Also speaking, chairman of the defunct OSTMS, which has now become NURTW in Osun State, Comrade Wakil Nuruddin Alowunle, described the event as remarkable, adding that it will bring sanity to the transport sector in the state. You're watching News at 7 on Western Spring Television. Still to come, Nigeria ranked 140th in World Corruption Perceptions Index. You're welcome back, and this is the News at 7 on Western Spring Television. A reminder of our headlines. Senate to receive report on 54.2 trillion naira 2025 budget estimate this week for possible passage. The House of Reps has called for suspension of 50% tariff hike by telecommunications companies. And Central Bank has scrapped a free ATM withdrawals for other banks' customers. And the foreign scene, Hamas official says respecting ceasefire is the only way to bring Israeli hostages home. Nigeria has been ranked 140th position out of 180 countries in the world in the 2024 Corruption Perceptions Index. According to a report by Transparency International, the TR's latest ranking released on Tuesday sees the continent's most populous nation move up 5 spots when compared with 2023's report and 10 spots as against 2022's report. Denmark emerged as the least corrupt country with 90 points, with fellow Nordic country Finland coming in second with 88 points and Singapore in third with 84 points. However, countries that made the most corrupt list in the world were South Sudan, Somalia, and Venezuela. Based on the report, Uganda, Mexico, Madagascar, Iraq, and Cameroon share the same spot with Nigeria with a total score of 26 points. In the African category, Cape Verde topped the list of least corrupt countries, although it was ranked number 35 with 62 points. The CPI ranks 180 countries and territories worldwide by their perceived levels of public sector corruption. The results are given on a scale of 0, highly corrupt, to 100, very clean. The federal government of Nigeria will press the appropriate diplomatic buttons and liaise with the appropriate authorities to resolve the suspension of the drop box provision for Nigerians renew their American visas. The chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Foreign Affairs, Oluwole Oke, made this known in a news chat this morning, noting that he was going to take the matter up with the Nigerian charge the affairs in the United States. The drop box system allowed applicants, especially those with recent U.S. travel history, to submit passports without interviews, reducing wait times. However, last weekend, complaints filtered in from visa applicants that the U.S. has stopped its visa drop box service in Nigeria, necessitating all visitor visa applicants to attend in-person interviews. The development comes amid a crackdown by the Donald Trump presidency on migrants in the U.S. The lawmakers said the suspension of the service was not a serious issue, as Nigeria does not